It's day 43. First of all, I'd like to apologise that I am wearing the same dressing gown and with this silly makeup on it again. If you are bored of this dressing gown, can I just say I'm with you, sister. And hopefully, well, in about 5 days' time, you won't see it anymore, all this silly makeup. I'm going to talk today about FaggotGate, because on Christmas Day, Gavin and Stacey played some of Fairy Tale of New York, originally performed by the Pogues and Kirsty, and it's been very controversial because they included the lines "you scumbag, you maggot, you cheap lousy faggot," which is part of the original song, and they chose to keep it in their show. And I wanted to talk about it, and I wanted to say I wish Kirsty was here. I wish Kirsty McCall was here so that she could weigh in, because I don't know Kirsty McCall. I didn't know Kirsty McCall before she died. For those of you that don't know, she died in a horrific speedboating accident years ago. It was possibly 20 years ago, maybe 13, but it was a long time ago anyway. And I was a huge fan of Kirsty McCall. It was a brilliant singer-songwriter, storyteller, and she's the original. She's the person that sings the line, "You scumbag, you maggot, you cheap, lousy faggot." And I think if Kirsty McCall was here right now, she'd go, "Yep, that was a line in a song that I sang in the 80s, and it seemed appropriate at the time. It didn't seem inappropriate, certainly. And if I was doing that song now, I might not say yes." I have no idea what she'd say, if I'm honest. But what I'm worried about is the song getting erased, and she becoming erased with it. I mean, personally, as somebody who's been called a faggot and been brought up in the 80s being called a faggot, I don't have that big a problem with it, but that's because it's a song from my growing up time, and Kirsty I'm a huge fan of, and I don't mind. I'm not bothered, if I'm honest with you. I mean, the whole point is that it's a Christmas song that is full of insults to rather, unpleasant people being unpleasant to each other, and yet it's a Christmas song. Isn't that the entire point? I would also like to point out that you don't have to look very far on Spotify under Kirsty McCall to find songs, one in particular called El Paso, where she is playing a role of somebody who is in love with a woman. I don't know whether she's supposed to be a man in love with a woman, or whether she is herself a woman being in love with another woman. Perhaps it doesn't matter, but that's just another role, another story she was telling with different words, and she didn't hold back and go, "Oh no, I can't sing that because I'm a woman and that's not right." Kirsty McCall was a fantastic singer, and wrote brilliant songs. There's so many great albums. So whatever happens with FaggotGate, and if it must go, it must go, and I'm not gonna make a big fuss about that, because I understand it upsets people, and I am going to defer to the younger people or people my age that are more offended than I am, because I get it. But please, let's not erase Kirsty McCall. The reason she died was because she was on a holiday with her family in, I think it was Mexico, and they were swimming in the sea in a swimming-only area, and somebody was in that area with a speedboat, and she swam and pushed her son out of the way and saved her son's life, and was killed by this speedboat driver. And the speedboat driver was sort of related to somebody in the government or the royal family of Mexico. It's all very murky or very unclear, and to this day no one has ever been brought to justice for her death. And isn't that a lot fucking more tragic than a lyric in a song? I think it's terrible, really sad. Her mum campaigned for years and years and years to try and get justice for her, but she eventually gave up, I think, didn't you, Jean? I understand if you did. Perhaps you're still campaigning, I don't know. Maybe you'll message me and let me know. If you've got a favourite Kirsty McCall song that you would like to share in the comments below. I know, just to put this all into perspective as far as her career is concerned and her oeuvre, I will offer, there's a guy works down the chip shop, swears he's Elvis, as a start of a 10, and you can join and do some more. I'm not saying I think that this is a cool song to sing anymore. I'm just saying, let's not forget Kirsty completely. and she was just singing a song at a particular time. That's what I'm saying, I think. It's complicated, isn't it? Anyway, day 43. See you tomorrow, if we're saved. I've got 9 shows left.